The inguinal ligament, ligamentum inguinale, Poparte, or Popart's ligament. The inguinal ligament is the lower border of the aponeurosis of the obliquus externus, and extends from the anterior superior iliac spine to the pubic tubercle. From this latter point it is reflected backward and lateralward to be attached to the pectineal line for about 1.25 centimeters, forming the lacunar ligament. Its general direction is convex downward toward the thigh, where it is continuous with the fascia lata. Its lateral half is rounded and oblique in direction. Its medial half gradually widens at its attachment to the pubis and is more horizontal in direction and lies beneath the spermatic cord. The lacunar ligament, ligamentum lacunar Gimbernati, Gimbernaut's ligament. The lacunar ligament is that part of the aponeurosis of the obliquus externus which is reflected backward and lateralward and is attached to the pectineal line. It is about 1.25 centimeters long, larger in the male than in the female, almost horizontal in direction in the erect posture, and of a triangular form with the base directed lateralward. Its base is concave, thin, and sharp, and forms the medial boundary of the femoral ring. Its apex corresponds to the pubic tubercle. Its posterior margin is attached to the pectineal line, and is continuous with the pectineal fascia. Its anterior margin is attached to the inguinal ligament. Its surfaces are directed upward and downward. The reflected inguinal ligament, ligamentum inguinale reflexum, Colesi, triangular fascia. The reflected inguinal ligament is a layer of tendinous fibers of a triangular shape, formed by an expansion from the lacunar ligament and the inferior crus of the subcutaneous inguinal ring. It passes medialward behind the spermatic cord and expands into a somewhat fan-shaped band lying behind the superior crus of the subcutaneous inguinal ring and in front of the inguinal aponeurotic falx, and interlaces with the ligament on the other side of the linea alba. Ligament of Cooper. This is a strong fibrous band which was first described by Sir Astley Cooper. It extends lateralward from the base of the lacunar ligament along the pectineal line to which it is attached. It is strengthened by the pectineal fascia and by a lateral expansion from the lower attachment of the linea alba. Admaniculum lineae albae. Variations. The obliquus externus may show decrease or doubling of its attachments to the ribs. Addition slips from lumbar aponeurosis. Doubling between lower ribs and ilium or inguinal ligament. Rarely tendinous inscriptions occur. The obliquus internus abdominis, internal or ascending oblique muscle, thinner and smaller than the obliquus externus, beneath which it lies, is of an irregularly quadrilateral form and situated at the lateral and anterior parts of the abdomen. It arises by fleshy fibers from the lateral half of the grooved upper surface of the inguinal ligament, from the anterior 2/3 of the middle lip of the iliac crest, and from the posterior lamina of the lumbodorsal fascia. From this origin the fibers diverge. Those from the inguinal ligament, few in number and paler in color than the rest, arch downward and medialward across the spermatic cord in the male and the round ligament of the uterus in the female, and, becoming tendinous, are inserted, conjointly with those of the transversus, into the crest of the pubis and medial part of the pectineal line behind the lacunar ligament, forming what is known as the inguinal aponeurotic falx. Those from the anterior third of the iliac origin are horizontal in their direction and, becoming tendinous along the lower fourth of the linea semilunaris, pass in front of the rectus abdominis to be inserted into the linea alba. Those arising from the middle third of the iliac origin run obliquely upward and medialward and end in an aponeurosis. This divides at the lateral border of the rectus into two laminae, which are continued forward, one in front of and the other behind this muscle, to the linea alba. The posterior lamina has an attachment to the cartilages of the 7th, 8th, and 9th ribs. The most posterior fibers pass almost vertically upward to be inserted into the inferior borders of the cartilages of the lower 3 ribs, being continuous with the intercostalis interni. Variations. Occasionally, tendinous inscriptions occur from the tips of the 10th or 11th cartilages, or even from the 9th. An additional slip to the 9th cartilage is sometimes found. Separation between iliac and inguinal parts may occur. End of section 38.